Welcome, welcome to Manifestation Monday. I am the goddess of radical self-love, and this is MECA. Make everyone count always. We are a support network for radical self-love and self-care and master manifesting. Yay, manifesting the life you desire and deserve. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to those of you who are new to our family, and welcome to our family back as always. Thank you for your love, comments, shares, and subscriptions and donations. Yes, donations are always welcome here at MECA. As a community, as a family, we also support and value our community's most vulnerable care receivers and those who care for them, caregivers, when our most vulnerable feel supported and valued, the rest of us are assured we are valued and supported as well. So, just a little backstory for those of you who are just joining us. So, with this being Master Manifestation Monday, everything we do here is to support the self so that we can therefore support others. So radical self-love being divine, holistic forgiveness of the self, right? Complete and utter support of the self is going to help you manifest your dreams, passion, goals, and desires because we're letting go of fear, shame, guilt, right? And replacing those with compassion, forgiveness, care, right? So we don't have to worry about fear, doubt, and worry anymore, or anxiety, as long as we're concentrating on healing ourselves, which is self-care, right? So anytime you ever fall into those categories of fear, doubt, or worry, shame or guilt, you replace them with self-care, 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 and are able to then manifest because you believe you're back into the infusion of higher energy, which believes and manifests what it would like, because we're all conscious creators. We either manifest the life we desire and deserve, or we manifest things that we should have fear, doubt, and worry about, right? And at times, shame and guilt. So here, you all have joined me, or at least our family who's been watching for a while, on my journey and manifesting the life I desire and deserve. So really, what I do here is teach through doing. And then I tell you all what's going on and make new approaches to how to do it better at times. So, well, not at times, all the time, because Monday is just Manifestation Monday where we make our plan, right? We use our planners to make our goals for the entire week. I'm just looking. I do have my planner. It's just 1 second. I'll grab it. So bad. All right, I was so close to it. So, first step, self-care. That's what we plan for on Master Manifestation Mondays, right? What are the things that make you feel good? And I really like to take self-care into a mode where you can use it anytime, right? So first is our breathing, right? So anytime you're feeling any of these fear, doubt, and worry, anxiety issues, we can go back to our breathing and then look in our planners, right? So step 1, breathing. And I like to go in for a count of 4, out, pause for a count of 4, out for a count of 4, and pause for a count of 4. And then different self-care items, right? So working out. Working out, I've been so bad. So I'm going back. Working out actually raises your energy so that you can manifest faster. And you have higher energy, so you have more positive thoughts about the present moment, and how to deal with it is a lot easier because you're getting out any worked up, not so positive energy, or maybe stagnancy or even negativity. So all those things are getting worked out when you work out. And then we want to do something that's calming. So I like to do my tub time at 9. And breathing really should be breathing / meditation. For me anyway. And then I like to do something creative, right? So I do painting. So those are my go-tos. And if the worst possible thing could happen, then I have a plan to go by water, because that's my element. I like the river the best. So, and the ocean. Moving water. So, that is the self-care plan, right? And then we can write out our intentions for the week, right? So I know, for those of you who know about the grid I'm working on for my other project, I have to have, well, the grid will be done today. That's done. But I need to put it into the assessment format. So we're going to say that. And I'm thinking that will take until Thursday. Tuesday, I also have to do my podcast. And Shady, our guest that is coming to Minnesota, and she's giving me updates, so I'll let you guys know when it is coming. A friend of mine who reached out and told me her story about being kidnapped and sold into the sex trade. So I'm going to do a podcast with her, and she's coming to speak here in Minnesota 3 times over this next weekend. She'll give me the dates and whatnot. And I'm making a website for her so everyone else can find her as well, and the group she travels with. So Tuesday is that. And what else? I also have I have to write out I have to write out the findings for the assessment. By Saturday, and Sunday's my birthday. Woohoo! So I think I might be going back to Chicago, but we'll see. I love Chicago, but right now I have a love-hate relationship with it because it's too far to get there. Driving. So that was our intentions for the week, correct? Because we want to have everything open for the website to start on my birthday. Website open. ibuyme.com. That's right. So, what did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you all. I do really weird things, so you know already. I wanted to show you my girl. One of my goddesses I got over the weekend. Yes, isn't she amazing? You know, it is Cancer season, pretty watery. Never know what is going to happen with the ocean changing like it does, right? So it's best we come prepared. Welcome all to my season. If you don't like it, well, this is how it feels all the time. Just kidding. Anyway, if you don't like it, I'll just bring Harley's hammer and lay it down. So make sure you're prepared to come with your best during Cancer season, right? Especially all the best of love and care and compassion, because you definitely need it to deal with the ebbs and flows of the season. Lots of laughter. So, oh yeah, I was gonna like read about her really quick. Harley Quinn, Harleen Frances Quinzel is her real name, a fictional character appearing in comic books published by DC Comics. The character was created by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm and first appeared in Batman, the animated series, in September 1992. She later appeared in DC Comics' Batman comic books, with the character's first comic book appearance in Batman The Adventures number 12, season 1993. And in her depiction, she has been portrayed as a physician, psychiatrist, and as a psychologist. Harley Quinn made her first live-action appearance as part of the main cast in live-action 2016 film Suicide Squad, in which she is portrayed by actress Margaret Robbie. Or Robbie, whatever. Robbie will return to play the character in 2020 film Birds of Prey and Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is also set to appear in her own upcoming animated series, Harley Quinn TV series, in October 2019 as part of the DC Universe streaming service. Harley Quinn is a frequent accomplice and lover of the Joker, whom she met while working as an intern psychiatrist at Gotham City Arkham Asylum, where the Joker was a patient. Her name is a play on the name Harley Quinn, a character which originated in Commedia dell'arte. The character has teamed up with fellow villains the Catwoman and Poison Ivy several times, the trio being known as the Gotham City Sirens. Poison Ivy is also known to be a close friend and recurring ally of Harley, even being depicted as her girlfriend in recent comics. Since the New 52, she is now depicted as an anti-hero and has left her past as a supervillain behind. However, she is still depicted as a supervillain in other media. Harley Quinn has been depicted as a member of the Suicide Squad. Okay. I'm not going to read all of this, obviously, right now to you all. I'll read it later because I'm such a dork. All right. Although, since we did leave off with the... Why can't I think? Hermetic principles? Yes. Last Monday, well, 2 Mondays ago now. So, the principle of polarity. It's really hard to read right here for some reason. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes mean all truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kabbalion. This is a fascinating principle of law. Take, for example, heat and cold. Though they are opposites, they are really the same. It is merely a matter of degree. The same could be said of spirit and matter. They are really the same thing. They could be likened to water. Freeze water and it becomes ice, matter. Boil water and it evaporates, becomes gas. Fumes, spirit. They are identical in nature but different in degrees. If you look at a thermometer, where does heat, temperament, and cold begin? It's actually totally relative to one's body type and individual preference. The same principle applies to all pairs of opposites, light and dark, large and small, hard and soft, positive and negative. The same principle also applies on the mental plane of reality. Take, for example, love and hate. They are the same thing but different degrees. The importance of this law comes in the understanding of one's abilities to transmute and change the vibrations from one extreme to another. This, in reality, is the study of alchemy. And we transmute and change, right, by, well, first observing, right, and not putting our own niches on them and studying them. And we can transmute things by changing our own energy, right? The alchemists of the Middle Ages were preoccupied in changing base metals into gold. This is possible, as Sai Baba demonstrates so clearly and instantly. However, the real meaning of this comes in the understanding of one's changing one's base thoughts and emotions into spiritual gold or soul realized energies. Hate can be transformed by the power of your mind into love, gold. The lower self can be transformed into your higher self. The physical body can be transformed into your light body, ascension. Separation can be turned into oneness. Guidance by your negative ego can be turned into guidance by your soul using the art of polarization. An empty bank account can be transformed into a full bank account. We just need to polarize our consciousness differently. A person who is run by the emotional body needs to become polarized in their mental body. A person who is identified with their mental body or intellectual self may need to become polarized to the soul. A person merged with soul will need to become polarized to the monad. A person merged with the monad will need to become polarized to God, all varying degrees of the same thing. Next, the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So everything flows in and everything flows out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. Just remember that through this season. This law stated above, we see manifesting in every aspect of our lives. We see it in the tides of the ocean. We see it in our need for sleep after a day of work. We see it in the creation of a star and a sun and its eventual collapse. We see this law operating in the rise and fall of nations, and even the operation of the omni universe. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. Yes, so as I have said with lives, if you have gone through a life of suffering, there is going to be another side, rest assured, right? It's universal law. We see this in our breathing, and we see this in the way God breathes. God breathes out creation, and then he breathes in creation. God, the universe, our consciousness, collective consciousness, however you see it. We see this in the movement of stars and in the science of astrology. As the earth moves through the different signs of the zodiac, we also see this law operating in the mental states of man, where the Hermetic practitioner finds its greatest and most useful application. The Hermetists apply the mental law of neutralization. 0 point. The Hermetists cannot cause this principle to cease operation. However, they have learned to escape its effects upon themselves to a certain degree. The degree to which this is obtained depends on one's appreciation of this law and upon one's level of initiation at later stages. Hermeticists have learned how to use this law instead of being used by it. The Hermetist understands the previous law of polarity polarizes himself at one point at which he desires to rest, and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry him to the other pole. I am speaking of this now on the mental and emotional level. Calm within. No swinging pendulum. The master does this by the use of will and detachment to create a state of consciousness that is not swung backwards or forwards like a pendulum. The masses of humanity live on a mental and emotional roller coaster. The ideal is to attain a state of consciousness of divine indifference, even-mindedness, equanimity, inner peace, joy, unceasing happiness, and bliss. This is best explained by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the same teaching of the Hermetist. The idea is to stay even-minded, whether you have profit or loss, pleasure or pain, sickness or health, victory or defeat, rejection or praise. I'm actually very much at times going back to this because there have been like such extreme highs and I wouldn't say extreme lows right now, but I remind myself even in an extreme high that it's no different than an extreme low, and to stay centered, right? Breathe through it, observe it, make no judgment of it. Be grateful for it, no matter what. The experience. This is just a matter of where you polarize your mind and state of consciousness. There is a point of neutrality or objectivity or divine detachment that is not caught up in the pendulum swing between these different rhythms and polarities. There is a state of consciousness called God consciousness where you don't have to have a bad day. At the highest application of the use of this principle of neutrality, it is even applied in the physical body as well. For example, Sai Baba never sleeps. He doesn't need food. He never gets tired. He can bilocate and be at two places at the same time. This is the ascended state of consciousness. And we can all be at two places at a time easily. Just think of another time. Imagine yourself there. See it in your mind's eye. Remember how it felt. Remember how it smelled. All of it. See it. Now you're at two places at one time. There you go. Sorry. This is the ascended state of consciousness when the monad or spirit merges completely with the physical vehicle as well, and the physical body is turned into light. The duality becomes transcendent. Whether you are on an emotional roller coaster or even-minded and have unceasing equanimity and joy is determined by your attitude and the polarization of your mind. This is why the understanding of these principles are so important. All suffering comes from one's attachments and wrong points of view. It's all a matter of perspective. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to the law. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. There are no accidents in the universe. Everything in the universe is governed by laws. There are physical laws, emotional laws, mental laws, and spiritual laws. By understanding these laws, we can learn to operate, I don't know what that, in grace instead of karma. Many times we don't know the cause for the reason things happen to us. This is because there are several dimensions of reality in which causation can occur. As Edgar Cayce said over and over again in this Universal Mind readings, every jot and tittle of the law is fulfilled. No one escapes anything, even though it may appear like some people are. In truth, they are not. People pay a high cost for the things that they do, and sometimes we cannot see them. Right? The Hermetist, which means you don't have to have any anger towards anyone. You don't have to have any resentment because it's all being taken care of. Don't get yourself caught up in that stuff because it's what somebody else has done to you. But the to you is a lesson in itself too. So if you take it as a lesson in itself, you escape the karma. Negative. The Hermetists understand the art of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree. To do this by rising to a high plane of consciousness and hence become masters instead of victims and causes instead of effects. The average person on the street is an effect, not a cause. They are an effect and victim of thoughts, moods, emotions, desires, appetites, lower self, other people, biorhythms, the physical body, past life, subconscious programming, heredity, the weather, astrology influences, vital forces, discarnate spirits, glamour, maya, illusion, and the environment, to name a few. The master rises above and has a great deal of mastery over these things. The higher ones evolve. By the time of the sixth initiation and ascension, all of them are transcended. The masters obey the causation of the higher planes, but they help to rule them on their own plane. At each level of initiation, one goes up another plane of consciousness and hence can even better become a greater cause. The key for most people on the earth plane is to gain mastery over your mind, which is to lead mastery over your emotions and desires, and also mastery over your physical body and appetites. The basic cause of your life are the thoughts and images you hold in your conscious and subconscious mind. By learning to absolutely, vigilantly, and only allowing into your mind thoughts of God, love, perfection, perfect health, prosperity, joy, oneness, and equanimity, then this is all you will create, both inwardly and outwardly, for your thoughts cause your reality. Right? So that's why we have to let go of these illusions, right? And of our own guilt and shame. They're illusions. They do not belong there anymore, right? They were lessons. We're through the lessons. We can let them go, put them down, let them go, give them up, give them away. Done. Be done with them, right? Trust and believe in better, different, new, different, better, and more, right? Your thinking must be subservient to your soul and monad spirit instead of your lower self and negative ego. When these lessons are mastered, then there really is no reason to attend this school called Earth Life, except for service to our brothers and sisters who have not learned these lessons. In summary, be the cause, be the master, be the co-creator with God that you truly are, and then you are using this law and principle instead of allowing it to use you. If you are not the master, you are a victim. This is a law of polarity. Change your polarization with the power of the mind and the power of your God-given free choice. Universe, God. Conscious collective, unconscious collective, whatever you want to say. And lastly, the principle of gender. This is a great one since it was just Pride Week. Yay! Oh, it was so fun. Last week, this week I've been working. I didn't get to go to the actual Pride Parade. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Everything has a yin and a yang. On the physical plane, each person has a male or female physical body. However, psychologically, each person is androgynous with male and female qualities. Each person has a left brain and a right brain. In Chinese philosophy, the physical foods a person eats are divided into yin foods and yang foods. This law not only applies on the physical plane, but also on the emotional, mental, and spiritual planes. Father God, and Mother Earth, yin types of emotions and yang types of emotions, yin types of thoughts and more yang types of thoughts. The key point here is that the spiritual path is the path of balance and integration. Buddha called this the middle way. He demonstrated that the path to God was not the path of self-indulgence or asceticism. It is the path of balancing the male and female aspects with self and also balancing the heavenly and earthly aspects within the self. The spiritual path is also the balancing of the three minds, the four bodies, and the seven chakras. It is also the proper balance between the soul and the ego. This is done by transcending negative ego and hence keeping the ego in its proper balance and relationship to the soul, which is to let it take care of the physical body, but not interpret your life. As mastery is achieved, this balanced state becomes more habitual and won't take as much work, time, and energy to try to stay balanced. This is achieved by knowing thyself and understanding these universal laws and balances that govern our being. To know God, we must also understand God's laws, universe, collective consciousness. Yes. And I believe I left that link the last time on the other video, so I will check to make sure. So, gender being in all things, right? Just to find that balance and, the strength with the softness. That works best for me. Strength with gentleness and ease. A light from within. But also holding, I guess. Nurturing. Yeah. It's the push and pull, right? The sharp and soft. So, I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you all so much. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait till we get all this stuff figured out with this new business so I can go on vacation again. I actually was had one of my friends reach out from when I was in Cancun, because remember I was supposed to go to London, but because all this stuff, London had to wait. But then my friend asked if I could go to Cancun next Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, seriously, if I could just get done with this stuff, I can. So let's hope. Yes. I should probably reach out and tell him that. Maybe. I don't know. We will see. I don't know if I have any other announcements. So I love you all so much. Thank you for spending this time with me. Hope you rock your week. Make sure you guys get your self-care done. Love you all so much. Mwah, 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 mwah. Ciao for now.